Hi, Dr. Reagan Robertson, CCO of Productive Dentist Academy here, and I have a question for you. Are you finding it hard to get your team aligned to your vision, but you know you deserve growth just like everybody else? That's why we've created the PDA Productivity Workshop. For nearly 20 years, PDA workshops have helped dentists just like you align their teams, get control of scheduling, and create productive practices that they love walking into every day. Just imagine how you will feel when you know your schedule is productive, your systems are humming, and your team is aligned to your vision. It's simple, but it's not necessarily easy. We can help. Visit productivedentist.com/workshop. That's productivedentist.com/workshop to secure your seats now.
We're looking at team overhead of 17.5%. Got a huge team, but we also have huge productivity and collections. So what we've been able to do is by marketing at 8%, that drives us down to 17.5% team overhead. If you combine those two, 8 plus 17.5, you're at 25.5. Now, the average dentist at PDA is at 29.1. So I'm at 25.5, they're at 29.1. If I'm in your town, I will crush you in marketing. I will be able to market to everybody that I want to.
Hello, everyone. This is Dr. Bruce B. Baird, and you're listening to the Productive Dentist Podcast. In this podcast, I will give you everything that I've learned over the last 40 years in dentistry, working with thousands of dentists. I'll tell you, it's not that my way is the only way. It's just one that has worked extremely well for me, and I'd love to share that with you so you too can enjoy the choices and lifestyle that productivity allows. More time for things you love, increased pay, better team relationships, and lowered stress. Let's get into it with this week's episode of the Productive Dentist Podcast.
Hi, this is Dr. Bruce Baird with the Productive Dentist Podcast, and today we're going to talk a little bit about marketing and what I call net zero marketing. I've been doing net zero marketing for the last 15 to 18 years, and let me tell you a little bit about kind of what the concept is and kind of how it came to being. What I noticed was, and I've been marketing, as many of you know, you've heard the train wreck marketing. I like to market for people, and I've talked a little bit about it, but I really want to dive into the real concept of net zero marketing. And I've been marketing 8%, as many of you know, for the last 20 years. And what I noticed was my overhead didn't go up. As a matter of fact, my overhead dropped. So where most dentists are marketing at 1% or 1.5% or signing up for PPOs and all of that type thing to get new patients, which we know now PPOs are not insurance. PPOs are marketing companies. That's all they are. And so what I began to realize was, as I was marketing 8% and the average dentist was marketing 1.5%, my penetration into the marketplace continued to get deeper and deeper. When we collected $100,000 a month, I was spending $8,000 a month for marketing. When we grew the business because we were marketing and got to $200,000, now we were marketing at $16,000, $300,000, $24,000, $400,000. So as you can see, the more we collected on a monthly basis, the more I was able to market. And the truth is, you get more chances to be productive when you have a good, healthy new patient flow. And I've talked about that often on the Productive Dentist Podcast, is having a healthy new patient flow. Not just a new patient flow, but a healthy new patient flow. When I say healthy, I don't mean their mouth. I'm marketing to people who need dentistry. So, and again, we're doing educational marketing. But what is this concept of net zero marketing? It allows you to begin to drive, as you produce more, it drives all of your fixed expenses down. For example, let's look at what would be considered a good percent for facility. Usually runs in the 3 to 5%. If you're a new dentist and you have a brand new practice and your overhead for your business, for your building, may be running 7, 8, or 9%. that's a problem. But as you pay the note down, as you build your business and start producing more, you're driving that fixed expense of the building. Let's just say you're spending $4,000 a month or $5,000 a month, and you're doing 100. That's 5%. If you're doing 200, you're 2.5%. If you're doing 300, so what you do is you take that what I would call a decent percentage, 3 to 5%, and you drive it down by producing more, and ultimately by collecting more. It's not good enough just to produce it. You also have to collect it. I watch guys all the time. Oh, I do 100,000 a month. Really? Well, what's your PPO write-off? Well, we write off about 34,000 a month. So you're only doing 66. So let's only talk about the 66. Let's don't talk about 100. If I do 100 as a fee-for-service practitioner, I expect to collect 100 and maybe 98, 90, 99. But if I get down to where I'm only collecting the national average based on dental economics of 93%, what that tells me is I don't have enough financial options for people. So as I drive that fixed expense down, what are some other fixed expenses? I consider my team overhead a fixed expense. I have, oh gosh, on many occasions, I have doctors come to me and they go, and their team overheads today, I see team overheads at 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. The highest I've seen is 34% team overhead. And their question is, should I get rid of some people? I have too many people. And usually that's just not the case. Usually the case is you're underproducing. You're not seeing a good enough flow of new patients that need dentistry, or you're counting on discount dentistry to, be your bread and butter. So, when I talk to people and they have a 30% team overhead, actually across the last 8 years at PDA, we've seen an average of around 27.8% in team overhead, but that number has been rising. So at 27.8%, their average marketing, 1.3%. So you're looking at a 29.1% combination of those two overhead items, one being marketing and one being team overhead. So when we look at team overhead in my practice, we're looking at team overhead of 17.5%. Got a huge team, but we also have huge productivity and collections. So what we've been able to do is by marketing at 8%, that drives us down to 17.5% team overhead. If you combine those two, 8 plus 17.5, you're at 25.5. Now, the average dentist at PDA is at 29.1. So I'm at 25.5. They're at 29.1. If I'm in your town, I will crush you in marketing. I will be able to market to everybody that I want to. I mean, it's very interesting when I see, I literally could have every billboard in Hood County. That's a little overkill. I wouldn't want to do that. But I do have a billboard. When you're driving into Hood County, I'm in a small town, but you drive into this town, you see a billboard talking about our office. And I've talked a little bit about billboards in the past, about, I love educational billboards or something that creates a unique identity. Like one of our billboards says, Dr. Baird has trained people from, all 50 states and 19 different countries, or 31 different countries, I think it is now. Is that important to put up there? No, it's a unique identity. There's not any other dentists in the town that have done that. And if they have, I would recommend that they market. We actually have one of the docs in town that does use Productive Dentist Academy marketing. So, and he asked, is it okay if I do it? He actually came to PDA as a client and then asked, would you think Bruce would mind if I used your marketing? And of course I don't mind. There's plenty of patients for us out there. That I can tell you for sure. There are plenty of patients. I'm not worried. And truthfully, if someone else is seeing my patients or seeing mass number of new patients, I want to know why. I want to know what is it they're doing that's creating that unique identity. And And then I will try to copy some of those things. So I'm somebody who, when you start looking at net zero marketing, yes, that's a concept that I've come up with based upon my experience over 20 years. And so the other thing here is when you look at that 29.1 compared to the 25.5%, the two combinations, take every other fixed expense you have, and it drives those down. It even drives your variable expenses like electricity. And, if you're collecting more, it drives all your percentages down. And I truly believe if you're marketing at 8%, 9%, even 10% for your practice. And again, I don't want 2-for-1 happy hour at the office. I'm not recommending that you do, free crowns. If you do one, we get the second one for free. I don't recommend any of that. That commoditizes what we do. What I like to see is, laser periodontal therapy, come in. This is the newest of technologies, whether it's printing, now we have printers, we have, milling machines, everything's done in office. It's same day smiles. We can actually fix your teeth in the same day. We can give you veneers, crowns. We can even do implants with bridges and that type of stuff. So I love marketing from the perspective of unique things that we do. So if it's 8%, if it's 9%, if it's 10%, I don't care, because that 10% is going to be driven south with all of your other fixed expenses and even your variable expenses. So whereas someone who is at a 60% overhead or 58, national average right now is 73, and I think it's closer to 75. And that's because national average has a lot of PPO. So you're writing off 30% of your profit right off the top. So when I see that, you just have to understand what it is, what it means to be a businessman. Most of you did not have a good course on business in dental school. I've met a few docs that were business majors, but still, even those docs haven't experienced it in the field of dentistry. So as I talk more and more about net zero marketing, what do we do? I market, and I use Productive Dentist Academy marketing. And what I do is, if I collect, I'm going to use a number. If you were to collect $100,000, I'm going to spend $8,000 on marketing. Now, I am very consistent, and we've talked about consistency. And I'm actually going to do a program, one of our podcasts, about how to run your business, how to keep track of your business, because it's very predictable. I mean, I don't just go from 100,000 one month to 180 the next month to 130 to 400 to 200. We don't do that. We've consistently risen our productivity and our collections month after month, year after year for the last 35 years. Now, having said that, there's predictable ways of doing it. And we'll be talking about that in a future podcast. But net zero marketing is the concept that I want you to be thinking about to grow your business and grow your net, meaning grow your profits. People say, well, I don't have the money to market. I'd rather just sign up for a PPO or sign up for that. I would rather see you put a practice together. If you were opening up your own practice, or if you're buying a practice, make sure that you get revenue that covers marketing when you first begin. I would rather borrow $100,000 or $150,000 extra and use that with strategic marketing to patients who need dentistry that I want to offer than I would sign up for 5 PPOs and have them send me patients. Because remember, they're not an insurance company. They're a marketing company. Delta Dental just came out with that letter that says they're a marketing company. They're not an insurance company. So when you realize and understand that all they're doing is going out, signing up businesses and their employees, and they're taking a cut out of the middle, they're taking a big cut out of the middle, and their goal is to not pay you. So I would rather have patients come in, and my favorite patients, I know this sounds crazy, but my favorite patients are ones who don't have insurance. And And I talk to patients about this on a daily basis, and patients, even when they come in and we're out of network. Yes, we take your insurance. We can work on any patient that's out there. We are just a non-restricted provider, which means I can work on anybody. Yes, we're out of network. Yes, the cost is more. Let me explain to you why. And I'll go into an explanation with the patient why the cost is more. So net zero marketing means put yourself out there, create a unique identity, find a good marketing company that can watch over your money that you have set aside. And when I say that, what you don't want to do is get with a company that's going to upsell you to some $100,000 marketing plan that you're not ready for. That would be the worst thing for you to do. So having said that, I hope my nose is a little clearer after coming back from New Zealand. And I probably sound a little bit better, but I really believe, and if you believe that this is helpful information, please tell your friends and sign up for the Productive Dentist Podcast. Look forward to the next one.
Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Productive Dentist Podcast. If you found this episode helpful, make sure you subscribe. Pass it along to a friend. Give us a like on iTunes and Spotify, or drop me an email at podcast@productivedentist.com. Don't forget to check out other podcasts from the Productive Dentist Academy at productivedentistpodcast.com. Join me again next week for another episode of the Productive Dentist Podcast.